Do I have a scary movie for you? Ha 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 ha. And hello, boys and girls. Satan has the day off today, so I'm going to be filling in. And with another horror list for you guys. Pretty much this time I wanted to focus on found footage movies. These types of movies is kind of like a cringe as soon as you hear it. Pretty much because they're filled with shitty camera angles, blurry vision, undeveloped characters, terrible storylines, and the run of the mill jump scares and stuff like that. So I actually found a couple of movies that do something different. That's basically a good movie to watch. Because I'm always trying to give you movies that are not only good movies, I think, but also something that's different and not a lot of lists would tell you, or not a lot of people would tell you. So I get a lot of feedback from people saying like, "Yeah, I watched that movie and it was really good. Thank you very much." Found footage has a habit of taking the supernatural and combining it with reality, and that's what makes a good found footage movie. Not all these movies have that theme, but certainly it is an overriding thing that you notice in a lot of these films. And I enjoyed them quite heavily. So let's just get right into the list with the first one.
Oh my god. This is the door to the mystical.
Wait, this is the door?
No, no.
That's a door?
No, not exactly. It works in conjunction with this. Here. This is as above, so below.
As above, so below. I think if you watch my channel and stuff like that, you'll see that I have a lot of occult references, and this movie's full of them. And I don't think you can talk about found footage without mentioning the Blair Witch Project. I kind of changed my opinion on this movie through time. I remember when it came out, it was really, really scary, actually. People thought it was real back in the 90s, and it was just like that whole unknown aspect of like what's really going on here that was cool about that movie. I noticed there's similarities between the two movie posters, and I think it's kind of a gentle nod to the Blair Witch Project. I have enhanced the two images on a computer for you to compare the two images. But I don't think it can hold a candle to the horror movies of today, or even the found footage of today.
Nothing below is dark.
This is the floor, then where is all that water going? There's the way out.
You ever be watching a horror movie and just look what the characters are doing and want to just nope the fuck out of that situation? Like, come on. A random hole inside the catacombs, you just jump right down it? I don't think so. Yeah, but definitely check out As Above, So Below. The next one we have is Noroi. Noroi. I think I'm saying that right. It's Japanese for The Curse. And this is another movie that is a nod to the Blair Witch Project. It takes place in a Japanese forest that's sort of haunted and possessed by ghosts or demons or something along the lines. This movie is partially found footage, and that's what I found about a lot of these movies, that the best ones are usually like partially found footage, half documentary, half other types of mixed media and stuff like that. So, Noroi is a banger though. Like, if you're gonna check out any movie on this list, I would check out Noroi, The Curse, first, for sure. The next one we have is MOM. It's a new movie made in 2020. I think it stands for Mothers of Monsters. Check this out.
At what age did this behavior start?
When he was a baby.
He didn't like to be touched. By the time he was 16, I didn't know who he was anymore.
What are you recording me for?
What kind of kid wants to turn his pellet gun into an automatic weapon?
Stop already. Serious.
Let go. Ow. You're hurting me.
Yeah, this movie kind of takes away from the whole supernatural vibe that you get in these movies, and it comments more on horrors of society. There's this single mother, she has a son, and the son is potentially like the next Columbine shooter. But the movie kind of plays with your mind a little bit and makes you think that the mother is crazy and she's the sociopath, and it kind of goes back and forth like that. And I also got some vibes of like Dark Web Unfriended, which isn't a found footage movie, but it's sort of like experiments with that like mixed media type feel in it, because this movie is similar.
Yes, I am spying on my son. That is a live feed.
I'm making these videos for you, for all you other moms out there.
Hey, Detective Kelly, Mom's freaking out again?
Knock it off.
There's a lot of twists and turns. It's a brand new movie. I would say maybe even a revitalization of the found footage genre. Who knows? But yeah, it comments a lot on like this whole school shooting thing we have in society, kids shooting up schools, and the homes that they come from. So I would definitely check out MOM, Mothers of Monsters. The next one we have is Lake Mungo.
But yeah, I thought it would be interesting, and I suggested we film it, and I recorded it just with our video camera, which is the PC9.
I'm getting a strong presence in the room. The house.
I think we all thought that the seance was a failure. Ray didn't really come up with anything, with any signs or anything. So after about an hour or so, we called it quits. And it wasn't until the next day that Matthew was reviewing the footage that there was an image of Alice.
Make your presence known to us.
The new footage was
Spooky. This movie is a little bit more tame than the other ones. There's no graphic violence, but it is a good story, and the way that they pull it off is actually very convincing. I found myself even Googling, is Lake Mungo real after this whole movie? Because they just really present everything in such a factual like fashion, and it's actually a sad story too. It's a sad movie, kind of, if you really realize what it's about. But it's definitely more tame. So if you can't handle the violence and the blood and the guts and stuff like that, I would say check out Lake Mungo. The next movie we have is Butterfly Kisses.
Behind me stands Ilchester Tunnel, a throughway for the B&O Railroad for over a century. But for the past 80 years, it has become something far more sinister.
This is another kind of tame one as well, but it definitely follows in the footsteps of the Blair Witch Project. It's like one of those movies where you always kind of see something in the background.
Got a little bit weird. There's no cuts. There's no retakes. There's no calling for action. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that somebody is directing them.
We have the possibility that this whole thing is real. And we have the possibility that this whole thing is a largely plausible hoax.
If you're working with all these elements...
It's spooky. It's got this peeping Tom type character that every single time you blink, he gets closer and closer and closer until he eventually kills you. Kind of like the urban myth or legend of like Smiling Man or Bloody Mary, and you could just kind of tell where they just got a lot of these influences from, these stories that are in the ether of these monsters that appear if you do a certain type of ritual and stuff like that. And it's certainly creepy. You know. Next we have is Grave Encounters 2.
How do you work this thing?
How do you work this thing? Indeed, I'm still trying to figure it out, sister. I thoroughly enjoy movies that are meta, and by that I mean movies that are aware that this is a movie and they're commenting on that fact, pretty much. Grave Encounters 2 is about these filmmakers who are obsessed with the first movie. They watch it all the time, they think it's real, but the Grave Encounters 2 basically produces the fact that, you know, it is a movie and that none of it ever happened. But these kids go to the insane asylum that's well known in the first one and try to prove that it is real, and they bite off a little bit more than they can chew. So, yeah, this one's a good one though, because like there's a lot of things that you would not expect in this movie, and it definitely plays with that whole reality versus the supernatural clashing. The next one, this one you probably already know about. It's VHS. Women don't like being rejected.
Sorry.
Not all the shorts in VHS are good, I would say, but it's a horror anthology that plays on the whole found footage genre, and they use mixed media as well. I thoroughly enjoyed the Safe Haven skit, the one with the cult, the Japanese cult, and that's kind of compared to Noroi a little bit. Call back to that movie, I guess. And I also liked Amateur Night as well, just because I really need a succubus in my life, I guess. Yeah, so that's my list. I'm thinking about doing another list, best gore movies, or best gore scenes, or something like that. I don't know, if you like it, subscribe to my channel, like the video, I guess. I'm just really tired of seeing every single news and YouTube and Facebook post about COVID. I think it's a little refreshing to just see something different. Thank you for watching and giving me ideas as well for different movies and themes to talk about. So I appreciate all of you.
Now, dive into the endless handbag known use your imagination.